Hello, everybody. This is Derek, and with me today is the only man who will floss with the moss and or cricket legs, Carl Mandrioli. There he is with the pearly yellows. What's up, buddy? How you going?
Welcome to the Backpacking Blunders podcast, brought to you by Enlightened Equipment, makers of the best ultralight quilts on the market. Please check them out at enlightenedequipment.com. With me today is a man that believes geology rocks, but geography is where it's at. Derek Somerville, how's it going?
That was stellar.
Thank you.
Like three levels above your norm. I like it. I'm good, dude. We're talking about our favorite familiar topic, messing up today. We are no strangers.
Yeah, but I mean, like when we talk about our trips, we're always kind of highlighting where we mess up, and we hopefully it inspires others to feel not too bad about their own mistakes, or they can kind of laugh at themselves. But I don't think that's this episode. This episode is calling into question some of the things that people do or try to do, but that they don't ever get right. Like never, right?
Yeah, that's true. I think there's a plethora to choose from. And
really,
I actually have one that's kind of personal, that involves you. So I hope that it lands well. I don't want you to, go off here and cry and come back or anything like that. But okay, I think it'll be, we're about truth here on the podcast. So I need to purge it. I need to purge it out.
Okay. So you're saying, we're trying to say no backpacker does these things right, but one on your list is just about me. We're talking about the entire backpacking community, but there's one that just relates to me.
Well, I think a lot of people in your region can relate, and or you can apply it to the region you live in, right? So
okay. You'll backpacker in a region.
You'll see. You'll see
near me. Okay.
So for me, it's a certain region. For me, it involves a certain region. For like, let's say it's Tupperware Mike, and he's in a different region. It might be like, yeah, Derek, I relate with it. I can't find anybody in this region who can do this. It
sounds like you're already off the topic a little bit, but we'll see. We'll find out. That's
tit for tat.
Let's just be real with each other then. What's something that you can never do right in general, just in life? What
can I never do right? In life in general, not on the trail?
Yeah.
Something I'm not that good about, and this might sound like maybe, I don't know if it sounds like a serious thing or not. To me, it's like a bigger deal than it is with my kid situation. Like I feel like I try to go to bed at a good time, and I fail regularly at going to bed at a normal time. And then I stay up too late, and then I feel like garbage more often than not. So
what's a normal time in your world
to go to bed?
Yeah.
I'd say like 1 o'clock, 1:30.
So you feel like your goal time is 1 a.m. and
no. That's what I usually end up doing. It used to be
you can't go to bed at a good time. So what's a good time?
I can't go to bed like 11, even 12. Like last night, I think I went to bed about 12 for the first time in like a few months, and it felt great. It felt great.
All right. So when I'm asking you something you can never do right, you're saying you literally did it right last night. Interesting.
Yeah, but look at the percentage of losing. It's high. It's very high.
I know. And I'm trying to hit on things with this episode where it's like, no, like you will never do this right. Not 90% of the time, but never.
How many days a week are you growing new hair? You're not. It's 100% failure. That could be on your list. That's a better answer.
Thanks for answering the question for me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah. So what do you got on your list? What are you horrible at?
Well, okay, I'll tell you something that everybody else thinks I'm horrible at, besides growing hair. Well, you know about this because I put a video out a couple weeks ago, which is getting a rattlesnake out of the way on the trail.
Oh boy, yeah. Did you? I don't know if you guys saw my comment on Instagram. It was like, I don't know what was more disturbing, watching you try to hit a snake with a rock, which was pathetic, or the fact that the snake was just like, this doesn't scare me whatsoever, and then you still it was just, that was pretty funny.
So okay, you didn't know what I was doing, obviously, because your comment was not appropriate to the situation. I'm not trying to hurt the snake or hit the snake with the rock.
What were you trying to do with the rock?
Scare the snake, and my aim was actually, if you look at the video, it was actually stinking amazing because it was landing next to the snake, and it still wasn't moving. I still was failing, but the aim was good.
First of all, you're not going to hurt the snake if you hit him with a pebble. So I don't know. It's like
Okay.
if you just, I don't know if that's gonna. What did you expect him to do? Just like slither away really quick or something? Like what
Well,
was your
since
hope?
I've done this literally like 100 times, yes, exactly that, and it's worked every time, but not this time.
So the
So
one time you record it and put it on online, it was the one time it didn't work.
yeah, but you know what?
I don't believe that. I don't believe
if you
that.
want to like puff your chest out and be like, yeah, Carl, you don't really know what you're doing. Don't worry, man. Like this video attracted all sorts of trolls and
Oh, I believe it.
negativity, and they let me know.
I
Yeah,
believe it. I believe it.
they,
I believe it.
people were like telling me everything from what was it like, just kill the snake to how
Kill the
dare you
snake.
throw a rock towards the snake. We've had the full gamut. It's pretty amazing.
Oh man, what was their advice to remedy the situation? Did they give any input or just troll you?
I mean, a lot of them were just like use a stick to move, which is what you're supposed to do, but there weren't sticks around. I didn't have trekking poles, and I wasn't going to start breaking like I don't know if people could tell. It was scrub oak. It wasn't trees. So
No, I could tell. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of.
I think going around is not unreasonable. So people
Did you have a pack on or anything or no? I didn't see.
yeah.
So why don't you just take your pack out and just be like, try to hit it with your pack. Slide it out of the way with your pack.
Of all the troll comments, that was not suggested, strangely.
Well, they just got to think outside the box. You know what I mean? You know what would have worked 100% though, and I don't know if the trolls thought of this, but I thought of it, is all you needed, you don't need to throw a rock at it. You don't need to throw anything at it. Just take up your shoe and put it next to it. And it will be so grossed out, it'll probably just take off. Or better yet,
try with that.
Better yet, just get with like an earshot of it and just take your hat off, and show them, and be like, whoa.
I got multiple shoe stuff for this episode, so that's funny you mentioned that one.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
But yeah, and I don't like nobody was impressed by the fact that I did make one throw where I bounced a rock and it landed perfectly on its coil. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I will say that was probably the highlight of the video.
Thank you.
So well played.
Okay. Thanks for watching it and thanks for your encouragement. As always. All right.
Snake 1, Carl 0. Go ahead.
That's right. Moving along. All right. Bible verse of the episode, James 4:17. Whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. So Derek, when it comes to backpacking, do you know the right things to do all the time?
Ethically or
in general? Like it could even be the snake. Like you would have had no problem moving that snake out of the way, for example.
I'm not gonna kill the snake. I feel
kill the snake.
I'm just saying ethically. Do I know the right thing to do by the book? Probably not all of it. I think I have a general solid understanding, but I think there's some things. I'm sure there's situations that would arise. I'm like, I don't really know what to do here. But I think that we've talked about that too. It's like I find a weird enjoyment out of that, like figuring out what to do or figuring out the best solution to the moment, right? So,
and we're blessed to have a group that generates hard to figure out problems every trip. So
I do appreciate that about everybody in our group. That makes the trip so much more fun because people aren't gonna like melt down and fall apart. They're like, dude, what are we gonna do? We gotta fix this. I don't know why I'm doing my Rocky voice right now, but that's usually what comes to mind. So yeah,
that's funny.
Good.
All right, well, moving along with right thing to do, things we should never do. No backpacker does these things right. All right, you want to go first?
No backpacker. Okay, one that's on my list is about socks. Right away. I'm just going to use this one right away. I'm speaking from experience myself, and I'm sure and have heard of other stories with similar terrible results. But after a long day, let's say I didn't used to bring as many socks as I did. Now I bring enough socks from I don't care if they're gross. I'm going to throw them in a certain part of my pack. I'll deal with them after the trip. Before that, I would get to camp and I'm like, yo, I got to dry these socks out. I got to dry, or maybe you step in a river or whatever and your shoes are wet. I got to dry my shoes out. So I would think of, some horrible idea. I have a hard time drying my stuff in front of the fire. Like if it's sunny, that's one thing. If it's not sunny, it's like nighttime. I'm like, I'll just dry it, in front of the fire. It'll be fine. I'll just I'll mount it on a stick or I'll put it just outside the ring of the circle or whatever. I think 3 times now I've burnt socks. I've burnt shoes. You've been there to see my rubber melt and all that. So I don't know if I've ever really gotten it down. I don't know if I've ever really dialed it in. So drying things by a fire. Yeah. I think there's people that mess up all the time. I know there is.
Yeah, and you're playing it safe. You're like, this is my experience. I've struggled with this. You're kind of taking ownership of it, which I appreciate, but that's not what this episode's about. Again, it's about no backpacker does this right. I've seen shoes and socks steam by the fire. So I've seen them. It looks like they're drying, or I don't know if they're steaming or they're smoking. But in the end, either they end up getting too close to the fire and they end up melting or creating some sort of like uncomfortable pad on the bottom of the sock,
Right.
or like you're describing with the shoe. Or if they're too far away from the fire, it looks like they're steaming. It looks like they're drying. But then after leaving them there forever, they're still wet in the end. So it's either one or the other. Yeah.
Does anybody do that right? Do you do that right?
I've never seen it. I've never seen it done right. You can let us know, but I would be surprised.
Please, if I'm out of line, tell me, please.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. What do you got?
All right. So I'm going to say that no backpacker consistently knows how far it is to camp.
Okay. I'm going to assume you're talking about like, hey, I'm in a new place. I've never been here before, as opposed to
That's a really good clarification. Yeah.
Because you've gone on trails, running, biking, whatever, and hiking multiple times. You're like, hey, yeah, I know. Yeah, we're good. Right. So if it's a new place, like we were in Banff, I'm like, oh, nobody knew. And we had GPS everything. And it was still jacked. So
yeah, so that's a good clarification. In a new place, but it could even be in places you've been, because if you're going with a group and you're going with people who are like, okay, how much farther is it? That, you know, the age old joke is like, oh, mile and a half. And the reason why that's a joke is because nobody knows. And even if you have your app out and you're like, well, it actually is a mile and a half. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean 15 minutes? Does that mean like 45 minutes? Whatever it means, add at least 20 minutes to it, because you're farther than you think.
That's funny. I think for the first time in quite a few years, this is when we were hiding under a tree during the rainstorm at near Aloha Lake.
Taking shelter. Tahoe. We're not hiding, but go ahead.
We're hiding. We're fearful. Anyway, for two things. One, we were there for about like 5-6 minutes, and I realized there was another guy across the trail hiding. I didn't even see him for like 5-6 minutes. I'm like,
he's just taking shelter.
He was like a shadow. He was like a shadow. He never said a word. I was like, what is this guy, mountain man? Oh no, it's just a hiker. Anyway, after the rain let up, I think I saw somebody on the trail. I'm like, hey, are you guys? And they were coming the other way. I'm like, hey, is Aloha Lake close or something? And I'm like, the moment I said it, I'm like, I don't even know why I asked this. Like, why did I even bother? Right. It's such a waste.
They're gonna lie to you.
And the guy was like, yeah, it's just over the ridge. And I'm like, just around the corner. I'm like, it's like, all right, whatever. And he was actually correct. We went like maybe 50 yards, 75 yards, and it was like right there. And I was like, this is dude, it was close. I remember thinking like he was actually pretty darn right. That is the first.
We'd actually backtrack and find it because we'd actually overshot it. We surprised ourselves.
Whereas like Maroon Bells, somebody's like, oh yeah, it's just like a half a mile and you'll be there. And it was like, no. It was like 2.
Okay. That's another thing is you don't ask people because they always, especially if they're coming downhill, you're going uphill or vice versa. They don't know. They're estimating and they don't know how fast you're going.
Well, the guy had all the tech. Sometimes you see people with all the tech, all the little devices. I'm like, oh, they'll know. I don't think they
very
still know.
Rarely. Unless you're lost in conversation that's just amazing to you, very rarely are you like, oh, we're already here. This surprises me. We got here faster. And if you do have that thought, you're probably not really there. There's probably like a false summit or a false lake, or it's like a pond and you're trying to get to a big lake. We've had that before. We're like, oh, we actually got to the junction way faster than we thought. Oh, that wasn't really the junction.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's true too.
Okay.
All right. Okay, my next one involves food. I don't think any backpacker, this all varies for everybody, but I don't think backpackers, if they're cooking noodles in a freeze-dried pack, ever really cook the noodles perfectly. I don't think anybody can do it. I get like overcooked, I get like soupy, or I get like it's still a little crunchy.
It's al dente.
It's never al dente, Carl. Maybe once I got al dente, maybe. Never al dente.
Dude, that's a good one. I think I've done pretty well with the noodles, I'll be honest, but I would say frequently I'm messing them up. Frequently. So that's really funny. Yeah, even if we bring the measuring cups, it doesn't work.
It's not always accurate because, you get the altitude affecting things and
How does altitude affect noodles? What's your intel on
Noodle,
that?
well, the soaking time, the boiling time, like all the little number, everything's like thrown off a little bit. You know what I mean?
All the numbers.
All the
You,
numbers thrown off, dude.
yeah.
It's
So
not.
you're doing
It's just something.
calculations when you're
I'm
rehydrating.
like a computer up here, dude. I have to
Okay.
with you. You know what I mean? Just
All
a
right.
second or two off, those noodles are ruined.
I'm not going to go so far to say that no backpacker does these things right, but if you're talking about freeze-dried meals, I'm going to say a lot of folks fail at that.
I think that's
frequently.
a chunky number of failure.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. I've never.
What do you got?
Okay, so from my experience, I've never seen anybody, including myself, hang a bear bag correctly. So they hang it over a limb that a bear can't get to. So the limb is too weak to hold the bear's weight, but somehow strong enough to hold the weight of the food. And then if you take it to the next level where you counterbalance it, you have the two bags, one on each side, but it's also away from the main tree, the trunk,
right?
But also high enough off the ground. But also you can get the food back down. Like it's possible to get a bit down because it's not too high, right? Like if it's too high, you'd have to find a stinking long stick, which I don't know. I've just never seen it done. I've seen it diagrammed a million times, like just do this. And it's just like step one, step two, but I've never seen anybody do it correctly. They're either they get frustrated, they tie it off to the tree, they don't counterbalance, or they don't hang it at all, or the bear gets it.
That abbreviated explanation, thank you very much, reminds me of the time we tried to set up a hammock. Like it's in theory, it's super easy, but like we had the hardest time setting up this dumb hammock.
Pieces. That's not the same thing.
I know, but still, it was frustrating. So I mean, yeah, I think there's a depth. We've seen all kinds of bad ways to do it. Like right, like you throw it over the branch, and then it's like, well, everything's right next to the trunk of the tree. You don't think the bear's smart enough to just go like to the the paracord and like knock it down?
Well, the Yosemite bears are smart enough, of course.
Yosemite
I don't think they're smart enough in like the Colorado areas that I go to.
Do you do like IQ tests on the bears? What do you do?
Yeah, that's a great question.
That's a I think you.
Yeah. How about
that could be your job?
Tests.
You should go to parks around the world and just test bears.
I can do that.
Yeah,
just like tranquilize them, and then
because you like to grade things. I mean, you could just go around grading bears.
Yeah,
and then just move on to like moose or something.
I'm ready. I'll apply.
That's a lifetime gig I just gave you right there.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
You hear that?
So my strategy now is if it's an area that requires bear canisters, it's not always, but it's typically for a reason. You bring the bear canisters, you're not hanging the food anyway. If it's an area that doesn't require bear canisters, if it's areas where bears are skittish, like in my local wilderness area, I'm just putting the food in my vestibule. I have never, ever, ever had a problem. So that's my solution.
You put it in the vestibule.
Yeah.
Okay. How often have you buried your food?
The closest I've come to burying is I put it in an sack and I put rocks on top of it. Does that count?
Yeah, I think that counts. I mean, I love the sack. I wish everybody could. I just wish we could use it everywhere. But right. Okay, cool.
What's yours?
Okay, my last one has to do with wait time. So I don't think any backpacker is really ever going to get or agree or do right. How long do we wait for the slow people? Right, like we get to the trailhead. We're like,
wait, are you a fast person? Are you the waiter?
Depends on the day. I think I have been the waitee and I've been the waiter, and both are not enjoyable. Like on Red Peak Pass Depth March, my first one, you waited for me. I don't know how long. I got there. We've been over this, and I was like, dude, I finally, I can take a break. And then I got there, and like maybe 30 seconds later, you're like, you ready? Let's go. Yeah. And that wasn't enough for me.
That's inappropriate, you're saying.
That was inappropriate timing. I think I needed at least 2 minutes. But yeah, I think I think that's something nobody really gets right because everybody's so different. Like some people get to the meeting point, and they're like, yeah, let's go, let's keep going. And then some people are like, I need a break. I need some water. I need a snack. I need moleskin, whatever. So
my shoes are untied for the 5th time. I've got to rest and tie them.
Or if it's like you'll see me, you'll stop, and then you immediately take off your pack and sit down. And it's like, well, I guess we're here for another 10 minutes. So that's the hard part. Like if I see you coming,
have you ever approached a wait spot? You see people waiting for you, and right before you get there, you purposely untie your shoes to give yourself an extra minute so that you can rest for that minute tying your shoes.
I probably did that. I probably did something like that. Or
Which
I
way?
think, you know what I think I did one time is I was approaching the weight spot, and I think I was like, dude, I need a break. So I think I like tweaked my straps a little bit, and I was like, oh, hang on, I gotta take this off and like fix my straps. My straps are all messed up. Let me just take my pack off and fix the straps, and then
You're making fun of me for taking my pack off. And you're like, but actually, that's not a bad idea to get a little bit of a rest.
I said I did it once. Okay, I said it once.
Okay. All right. So here's the issue. I think what you're getting at here is if you're the person who's waiting on somebody else and you've been waiting for a while, then they show up. You've just been waiting for a while. So how much longer do you want to wait? Your muscles are going to lock up after 5 minutes. You got to re-warm up. It's not really fun. And then if you wait too long, then their muscles lock. Like, how long do you wait? How much rest do they really need? We don't know. We don't know how tired they are, right?
Do you do the check and you're like, are you good? Are you good? Why don't you take a minute, gather it? I'm going to keep going so I don't lock up. I'll meet you up ahead.
Right.
Problem solved.
I would say that
here's
I've
a piece
gotten
of beef
less.
jerky. Yeah, leave them a piece of beef jerky and you're on your way.
Just like put it on the rock. Here, eat this when you're ready for it.
This is for you, buddy. Take a sip of Wawa and I'll see you in another mile. That's what I did with Carl, guys.
I've gotten, with some folks, I've gotten a little bit less patient over the years because I've realized I'm like, man, they're hiking really slow. They're wiped out. But then when I've backtracked to find out if they're doing okay, they're typically like sitting down resting already. So why do they need to rest again? I'm sitting there waiting for them forever. One guy fell asleep while I was doing that.
No
I'm
way.
just sitting there waiting, like, let's get going. Right?
What?
Yeah.
They fell asleep? What? In the middle of the trail?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What
so
the heck?
Patience level is dropping. So I don't really know the proper amount. I just think that as long as they're safe and they know which way to go, just keep on going.
Weigh in, B&B. Weigh in on this one. I want to know what you guys think about this
one.
I'm curious.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. This last one I have. This one we've talked about a few times, and I'm trying so hard to dial this in, but you just can't. You just can't.
Okay.
Especially if you're going with a group. And that is pack the perfect amount of food for a multi-day trip.
See, I actually almost put that, and I was like, no, I don't think anybody's gonna get that right. Like, you mean perfect as in like I dialed in my snacks and my main meals and all this. So when I get off the trail, I have nothing left.
Maybe you finished your last snack within like the final hour of hiking,
and then you're just like, "Where's the lunch spot? Let's go."
Yeah, and then you get to the end, you're like, "All right, I'm done."
I think you and I got close that one trip, but I ran out too soon.
Yeah,
I ran out.
And I've typically, so I've come close, but either I'm giving food away or people might be sharing food, and then you can't really count that because that's not food that you packed. And then I don't know, it's just really hard to calculate, especially if you're in a group. So this is more specific to a group situation, and it's really hard to calculate. Okay, is this going to be a harder trip? Is there more elevation gain, more miles, more intensity, or is this an easier trip where I'm dialing it back? I don't need as many calories, and it's just hard. Yeah,
it's hard. It's a hard thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Because you don't know how much you're going to share, how much you like to mooch, like how many people like to, so it's a problem.
Yeah.
There's no answer to that.
It's funny because I think on a trip where you ran out of food, you took at least one pack of M&Ms, like full pack.
What?
240 calories off me.
I don't think that's true.
It makes me feel good when I am struggling with food and I give you a full pack and you're like, I'm going to like choose to forget your kindness, Carl.
I don't think that happened. I don't think
it did happen.
I took a whole bag.
Exactly what happened.
Tell me more. Go ahead.
So we had a 2-pass day. We were getting towards the top of the first pass. I was waiting for somebody who's lagging behind. You're like, man, I don't know if I have enough food. I was like,
where this is Banff? Where are we?
Yeah, sorry, in Banff.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're like, thank you so much. I'll always remember this, and I will never make fun of you mooching ever again. That was a response I got.
That's what I said? Wow, what a hypocrite I am. Jeez. How dare I?
Right.
How dare I? I'll try to remember from now on, but I won't. We have, what do we got next?
That's 6 things. That's 6 things, folks. What do we get right? What do we get wrong? What do we miss? Let us know, please.
I'm sure everybody's going to write in and be like, you guys, perfect answers. There's no trolling going on. No troll can say anything about this.
Yeah, we don't typically get the trolls we get like periodically on the podcast. It's more like when I'm putting out videos with snakes, apparently. So
as they should troll. All right, well,
let me ask a question real quick about trolls. Yeah. So I have an episode idea, which I think is kind of funny, but I don't know if this is interesting to everybody else, is I want to compile the best troll comments and criticisms that we've had over like the last couple of years, and we just go through them and respond. Is that a good idea or not a good idea? What do you think?
I think it's kind of fun sometimes.
Yeah.
I think we should. Yeah.
Like we're not gonna have our feelings hurt. We're gonna go through them in a fun way, but some of the troll comments are like outlandishly absurd, of course. So what do you think?
I think we should bring it up and do like the top 10 troll comments. Just talk
top
about
10.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, just talk about how either actually that was a good troll comment or that
if
is
it's
horrible.
a critique or criticism, it could actually be good, and maybe it might inspire us to change and for you to have better answers. But we'll see.
But inspiring Carl to change is next to impossible, you guys. So the troll comments are going to land on deaf ears. So, but it's fun to talk about. I think we should read them anyway. So,
all right. What does everybody else think? Let us know. Do we want that episode or is that nonsense? Let us know. All right. You got trivia?
We got trivia. I got trivia. I got, I don't know. What do you want to call this? Messing up mistake trivia. Coming up next.
All right. The trail is calling your name. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Our good friend Roan from Summit Strength can get you trail ready. Roan uses rock solid evidence to design a specialized training program just for you. There are plenty of cookie cutter programs out there that will get you only halfway up the mountain. Make it to your adventure summit with Summit Strength. The link to your success is always in our episode description, but you can check out all the information you need at summitstrength.com.au/online. It's time to be strong and pain-free for your next adventure.
All right, here we go. We got some trivia for you. I'm sure you'll find a way to complain about these. That's fine. This is Derek trivia, so you're just going to have to figure it out and answer it.
And your trivia is the best, as always.
I know, it is. It's original. Okay. I want you to put these in order according to one website. This was like a survey that was done, and I did the top 4, and I want you to put these in order from least common to most common mistake. Okay. I know it's subjective, but I think you can figure these out. I actually think you'll get this right. All right, I'm going to give you 4. Here you go. Put them in order. People underestimating the trail difficulty. Not checking the weather.
Okay.
Not starting early enough on the last day.
Okay.
And skipping the research of the park and trails ahead of time. So which one is the least common to the most common according to the survey?
Most common, least common. I don't know. I would guess. What was the first thing you said? The trail.
Underestimating the trail difficulty.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that at the end. I would guess it's the most common. Least common would be not checking the weather. I think people generally check the weather. Then the second least common would be starting early at the last day. Then the park research. Then the trail difficulty.
Incorrect. That's pretty close. Number 4 was not starting early enough. I think that's the least common because they're only referring to the last day, not like every day. So you're only talking like one day. And then it was not checking the weather, like you said. And then it was underestimating the trail difficulty. And then most people don't properly research the park and the trails. And as you know, as a trip planner, it's like, well, what does this park require? Permits? What is the elevation? Or what is there any closures? Or is there like how many times have we heard like, oh, there's snow, you can't go that way, and then we get there and it's like we went that way or whatever, right? So,
but that's not. Yeah, that's I don't know if that's research.
That's not research yet, but skipping a lot of that is.
That's another great Derek question. So thanks for that. But yeah, I don't. And we said I was close. I don't think I was close. I don't think I got a single one right. You
got the weather one right. You got the weather right.
I said that was the least common. That was like, the one that I said first, and you said it was the second one. So I was not right. Well,
you just needed to again. You're skipping research, obviously. I didn't. So here's why it's subjective. Is because let's say you don't do any research. You do 0. You show up to the park. You're like, all right, we want to go hike this trail. The rangers at the station, whether you want to hear from them or not, are going to tell you everything there is to know about the park and the rules. And then if you've been to the park 20 million times and you're actually reciting what they're about to say to you, they're like, we still got to tell you. So I don't think that's assuming you even see a ranger.
No, at the station. I'm saying like when you get your permit.
Well, I mean, that's like a speech you can let's be honest. Like that's a speech somebody like you, I'm gonna put you on, and probably somebody like me would just let go in one ear and out the other because you've heard all this before. Right? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me wrong.
I've listened to it so much. I know the speech, so I'm listening. But
so it's in one ear, not the other. It's in one ear, not the other. If Randy the Trail guy, if Randy the Trail Ranger tells you the same speech you've heard 50 times,
yeah,
are you really paying attention?
Well, now that I know that you're not paying attention, I'm going to say, you know what? Derek really needs to hear this. So please go talk to his face.
So you avoided it, and I'm right. Okay, number two. Ankle sprains are common injuries. What is not a standard treatment method for an ankle injury? This is not.
This is a good question. I like this one.
Oh, you do? Oh, you approve? You grade it?
I do. I approve.
You're 0 for 1 right now. So,
Thanks.
all right. What is not a standard treatment method? Heat therapy, an ankle brace, stick it in rice for 20 minutes, or soak it in a river. What's not?
Did you make these up?
No, these are all off the website. What is not a standard?
I've heard of rice before. What's the rice one? What is that?
I mean, it's gotta be rice, right? I mean, you gotta go with rice. Yeah,
rice.
You going rice?
Yeah.
Okay. It is rice because there actually is something I couldn't figure. Yeah, you got it right. Okay.
Confusing it with the phone getting like in the toilet or something.
I should have worded it differently because there is something called rice, and I just didn't word
rest,
it
right. Ice, compression, elevation.
Hey, look at you! You googled that quick. Yeah. Nice job.
But that's not what you said. You said stick it in
I know because I wanted to see. I wanted to see because I know you know what rice means. And I wanted to see if you would like. Oh no, I know. No rice. I know what that is. It can't be that right.
You could have tricked me, but your wording was horrible.
I know. That's what I said. I said my wording was horrible. Care package answer for you. Care package answer.
That was hilarious.
I was gonna just say rice it and have you figure out what that meant.
Okay, that would be better. You're right.
That would have been better. I screwed that up. So freebie for you. It's coming down to this final answer. Our question. According to Trekology.com, which is not a mistake? Which is not a mistake? Bringing a backup shelter, hanging too much gear from your pack, not relying on digital navigation enough, or breaking in your gear weeks before the trip, which is not a mistake.
It's like a double negative, so I'm going to say the last one.
Breaking your gear weeks before the trip?
Yeah.
Incorrect.
That's not a mistake.
It's well, they classify they classified it as like they classify the digital one, not relying on it enough as a mistake. So meaning you shouldn't rely on this too much, and you're not relying on it enough. Meaning like you're relying on it too much. The breaking in the gear was the breaking in. Did I word this whole thing wrong?
You don't even understand your own question.
I don't.
This is hilarious. You don't even know what you're saying at this point. You should definitely not break your stuff in weeks before the trip. Don't break in all new stuff, folks.
Okay, fun fact.
Bring the packaging.
Fun fact. Do you want to put? That's the worst question ever. Talk about mistakes. You see what I do, guys? We're talking about people not getting things right. I go all out. I'm doing it right now. You like that?
Favorite question all time, right there. All time.
You know what? Here's the truth, though. Here's the truth. I was setting up. I don't know who knows this or not already, but Carl's not a fan favorite of the fake ads. I love doing fake ads. I can do them quick. He does trivia so much faster than me, and I hate coming up with trivia questions, right? So I was sitting here doing this trivia question, and the way they worded online was like, it was
double
like
negative.
it was a lot of double negatives. I'm like, wait, and I sat there for like 10 minutes. I'm like, wait, how would I word this? Is it not nice? Is it like I did it? And then as I'm reading it to you, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, I just did this whole thing wrong. The whole thing wrong. Like none of these are mistakes except the third one. So. You know what? You passed trivia. How about that? You passed trivia.
All right, deal, sold. That
was
worth
horrible.
That 10 minutes you spent staring at the question was worth it. So thank you.
You know what? I'm here to entertain at my own expense today. So you guys are welcome. Troll that.
There you go.
Woo. Yeah,
all right, 3 tidbits, my friend.
Go ahead.
Close out here. All right, first one is just yesterday. We have a new Patreon supporter named Matt. I don't know anything about him, where he's from, or anything. He hasn't responded to my email yet, but I just want to give him a quick shout out, and we'll give full details later. But Matt, thank you so much for joining the Patreon family.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel bad actually with this next tidbit because this one is actually calling. This is like a trivia issue that we had.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, and
I'm at the forefront.
Well, people don't typically take my side, but they took my side on this one. Do you remember the question about why are most hammock campers east of the Rockies? And you're like, this is a terrible question. Okay. And I told you it was easy. Phil H took the time to email me and said that was a Captain Obvious question, and that I should start asking questions like who is buried in Grant's tomb so that you can get the questions.
Right. Oh, so he was mocking me.
Yeah,
that's good. Okay, yeah, I'm not really okay, that's good. Well, what's the tidbit? Just I'm an idiot on that one, or what?
He just an email he sent. He didn't say you're an idiot. He just said he just thinks that I should ask you some more Captain Obvious questions so you can get them right.
Okay. Well, if he wants to review who's got more trivia right, he can do that too. I could research that and email him. How about that?
Okay.
Huh?
All right.
Who's got more trivia right, me or Carl? Phil. Okay. Yeah. So there we go.
Right. I don't really know if that.
Who's winning this year in trivia, by the way? Is it me?
We've been tied. We've been tied for a while.
I think I have the edge. Okay.
Well, we're gonna have to reboot soon. All right. Last tidbit I have is I've got a kind of a review / preview, something that just came out.
Yeah.
And we've talked about these on the show before. I don't think you use them, but they're shoe inserts called Super Feet.
Super Feet.
Got the blue, got the green. Okay. So these aren't Super Feet aren't new. They've been around singing forever. And I've been using them. I've used them for years. They have this is kind of tying back to your foot stuff. They have like the moisture wick off the top that helps reduce odors. Do your shoes stink, honestly, day to day?
Normally, I mean they can. I have like a spray of I think like Lysol disinfectant. Sometimes I'll spray them if I'm
so that's a yes. If you use a spray, that's a yes.
But I only do it if I'm active all day.
Okay.
Like if I'm running or doing some activity.
So these are inserts that are helping with. There's a kind of arch supports. They're supposed to help. So they kind of help with that. They have like a carbon fiber cap on them that gives a little bit of spring to your step. So this could actually help you go faster on the trail. But here's what's different about them. I'm not actually sure if the carbon fiber thing's different, but what's different about them is that they have different levels of arch support. So they typically were all about the same level. So it's kind of like a one size fits all. And now they have like different levels. So this is the blue one, for example, is medium arch support.
Yeah.
The green is low arch support. So they're kind of more tailor fit to your feet. Yeah. And I mean, like shoe stuff's expensive, man. If you were to go to something like the Good Feet store, like you're talking like $1,000. So
easy.
If you can get away with these to help issues like plantar fasciitis, I would look into these. I think these are a potential solution. And you go to places like REI where you can buy them and you have a year return. Like, what's the risk, right?
Do it. Are you going to use which one are you using? The low one or the medium?
So the last one that I used was the green one, and then and my wife uses them as well. I haven't been using them more recently. I started having like major foot problems, not from the Super Feet, but from other issues I was having just from like trail running, and people don't really want to hear about that, so I'll stop talking about that.
That is disgusting. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So
it's another episode.
One of the foot problems was not the issue you have with stink foot, so it wasn't that. Just to clarify.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Okay. All right. So thanks to Super Feet for making some adjustments that are way less expensive than orthotics or the Good Feet store. That, my friend, is all I got.
That is hallelujah all I got. I'm sorry about the trivia today, guys. We will see you next time. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Thanks for all the feedback. Let us know what you think about these questions and comments we had on the show today. Throw us some comments. We'll talk about them when we get to them. And remember, guys, if you need a proper trivia question, I was not your man today. Carl wouldn't do much better either. We'll see you next time.